What if the most heartbreaking moment was for no reason and didn't even have to happen at all, because it would have accomplished what one of the main characters set out to do the entire time? Gustave as a character starts off with strong motivations at the beginning of the game. We start off with the loving exposition and details of his relationship with Maelle, being her older brother and legal adoptive guardian. The game puts us through his loss of Sophie and his connection with her through the years, and a few moments after that we see him lose all hope and then regain that same hope with a new drive. Ultimately, his main concern is Maelle, above his own life and even maybe the lives of others. He sacrifices himself to give her a fighting chance, and at the end of this encounter, Verso joins in the party and we embark on this journey with him. At this point, relationship systems are introduced to the game, which unlock more abilities with the higher levels that Verso has with the character for their relationship. But during his final level with Maelle, Verso reveals some pretty heartbreaking details. He truthfully admits that he purposely let Gustave die and very well could have saved his life. He also early in that conversation detailed that how he's been watching Maelle for over 15 years, ever since she joined the canvas, being tasked by Clair to do this. And we actually see the moment where Clair returns from just now telling Verso this during the Alicia epilogue. See her painting powers fade from her face as she just returned from the canvas. But Verso let him die because he feared that Gustave would have interfered with their plans to take down the paintress, especially once he learned the truth about their world and that it's a canvas. But I don't think that's entirely true at all, which is the tragedy of this whole thing. Once Gustave has that conversation with Maelle about how she needs to go home to live to die another day, I think he's already given up on his own life multiple times at this point. But I also think Verso was wrong, because while Gustave might not have agreed on genocide, which is ultimately what Verso and Renoir want for the canvas, to destroy it, thus eliminating all the people in this world, which the entire prologue and Act 1 spends time to show us, just how much these people endure and suffer, even though they are painted beings. Gustave, after he regains his confidence with Lune, only cares about Maelle living. If you were to know about the truth behind Maelle's origins, that she is Alicia and from a real world, has the potential for a truly long-lived life outside of this bleak, depressing world that he's in, I think he would have fought to convince Alicia and Maelle that they need to leave this canvas and put her life ahead of his again. I don't know how he would feel about destroying the canvas or if he would want that, but seeing Alicia's strong attachment to this canvas would have swayed into his decision, reminding her that she has a life outside of this, through all the emotional turmoil she goes through. Verso letting Gustave die in fear of him interfering with his plans is actually something that possibly ruined the ability to achieve pretty much what he wanted. I do believe that had Gustave not died, Maelle would not have fallen into the despair that she ended up in, which would not have combined with her true memories and feelings of Alicia, and Gustave's living and driving force has always been Maelle as the future. Lune has to remind him that the future of Lumiere is what's most important, but let's be real, we all know multiple times he's exhibited this, Maelle comes first. Verso with his immortality is cursed with the pain of being unable to dream or benefit from sleep as it hurts him. And he's a clone, more so a copy of someone who he has all the memories of but shares no true attachment to, which is pretty tragic because he feels like an imposter. As his conversation with Esquier brings all of that to light even more, with him asking Esquier if it's ever bothered him that he's not the real Verso. Also, none of us watching this video can truly comprehend what it's like to live over hundreds of years long, bearing everyone you know can severely change your perspective. So his strong black or white ultimatums and motivations are as understanding to us in a way that we would never truly know how he actually feels from a personal standpoint. So it's natural that he would want to end it all, which would let his soul finally be able to rest, but also in that same time give his family closure and communication they need. Another detail too is the Mask Keeper, of course. The Mask Keeper is the one who guards truth with lies, quite literally reflecting Verso and his character's inner workings, a trait that Verso embodies as we see it unravel through the game. In the monolith, if we return back to where Gustave is buried, you can see masks on his grave, two different faces on the front and back. A nod at Verso, of course, being responsible for his death, but further tying back into the truth that he told us. He purposely let Gustave die because he thought he would intervene with his plans to stop the painting altogether. A mask of a lie, guarding his truth. The story of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is something that sort of jumps back into your head randomly. The story, among many things with this game, is an amazing reason why it's such a Game of the Year favorite for a lot of people. We have a massive Platinum Hunt Journey video releasing next week for Clair Obscur, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. So hit that subscribe button and notification bell to help raise that 38% even higher so you don't miss out on that. Also on YouTube, a really exciting new feature. If you hit the like button, there's an opportunity to hype up a video. Your community can do this up to 3 times per video. So if you guys have this feature, because not everybody has it, please lend me your hype. It really helps out a ton, because we have plenty more on the way, especially with the DLC news for this game. Non-stop, nobody ever really cares for what Maelle or Alicia wants. It's the brutal aspect of her character. She's been disfigured and is disabled, belittled by her family many times over, and blamed for their worst tragedy. During the Reacher side mission, Painted Alicia is pissed at Verso and doesn't even speak with him, and wishes for Maelle to instead gomage her so that she can be free of this, especially after learning the origins of her creation, living in pain to suffer for things that she never did. Verso gets mad at Maelle, saying that he wanted a chance to stop Alicia. He should have been able to persuade her, which I find unfair because Maelle also points back at him. Just the other day, he tried to do the same thing to them and was hoping Renoir would actually destroy the canvas without giving them any chance to persuade him, to which he responds that's totally different and not the same thing. But really it is. He just doesn't like this because it's not within his control or his plans, which if you ask me is kind of weird because he already was going to delete the canvas and in that same way get rid of Painted Alicia. What would convincing her to live on delay or do? He's not making a whole lot of sense here, and I think he's just lashing out. Verso wants at the end of the day to end his suffering, which would also give his family the opportunity to move forward that they need and a real future, not lingering in the canvas, which we can only hope that Desandra actually communicate and use this to strengthen their family. But in the Verso ending, I don't really see that initially. I see Renoir and Aline embracing each other and not paying attention to anyone after just causing all of this crazy conflict. Clair just wants to be done with this and moves on. She literally walks right out of the frame. And we can only hope that the family teaches each other how to use this power properly and not be consumed by it. But we can see already the parents are struggling with that, so I don't believe this will happen. But we do have a lot more to learn about them, because I also think that Desandra are possibly the villains in this whole thing. Aline despises Alicia so much that she doesn't even repaint her copy as a normal person. She burns and disfigures her in the canvas, which is insane to me because she painted a near perfect copy of Verso and could have painted a perfect version of her family, but she chose not to, and instead painted Alicia to suffer for this. Renoir wants his family back at the end of the day and is willing to destroy things that they want in order to achieve this. Instead of communicating or finding compromise, it's all black or white, nothing in between. The only person who probably would have benefited to help Maelle and Alicia understand what needs to be done is actually Gustave, and he's gone. So I think Verso letting Gustave die and him ultimately dying was the biggest mistake that he could have made, because he would have gotten exactly what he wanted. Maelle would have been easier to convince if Gustave was alive, which is the irony in all of this. Yes, genocide wouldn't be within with what he wants or agrees with, but if he was alive, she wouldn't have been scarred by his death to the point where her and Verso connect, and then she doesn't want to let him go because he's her real brother. And losing Gustave heightens these fears and trauma even more because she already lost a brother/father figure. The soul of Verso also among all of this doesn't really seem to be bothered that the canvas is powered by him, as he states that the people in the canvas are as real to him as the people in the real world. He tells the party this in the flying manner. Verso's question to him at the end of the game is kind of a manipulating question. He tells him, "You're tired of painting, aren't you?" instead of asking him if he's tired of painting. He is the mask keeper after all. But I think Maelle in her ending finds a solution for this, if we want to talk theories for a second, with the little boy in the crowd with them. He is the only orphan we see that isn't one of the apprentices or anyone that we've seen in Lumiere. The entire party seems to know him, and it very well could be the soul of Verso, being given an out by Maelle to stop painting. Obviously, all of this can and will have some holes in it, but that's what's awesome about this game. Its story and characters and the creators. They've given us so much to wonder about with no definite answers, and mostly want us to create our own conclusions based on what we feel. They want us to feel that the canvas is a real living, breathing place, and for us to feel for those people and the residents as well as the Desandra family, as they have stated this many times in social media and other interviews. I mean, as if that pain in Act 1 wasn't apparent enough, and that prologue. Looking forward on the horizons, we do have DLC announced from the devs. They confirmed it on their official website, and if you ask me, I think a teaser trailer during the Game Awards next week makes sense, and also for it to release at the 1-year anniversary of the game in a few months. April 2026 just might be a really fun time. If you guys haven't seen our story explained video yet, please check it out and let me know what you think. And also stay tuned for next week when our big platinum hunt video for Expedition 33 drops. Plenty more theories and things to discuss. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Clair Obscur Expedition 33 videos are on the way and you don't want to miss them. My name is Blitz, and thanks for watching.